And in phase 3, this is probably going to be one of the biggest paradoxes in this world. For companies all over the globe, it will become more difficult and more complex than ever before. And for us customers, it will become more easier than ever before. I think in the last 3 years, with all our Nextworks tours that we've done, I had the pleasure of probably going to 300 companies in all parts of the world, and we focus on companies that are working on innovative ways of dealing with customers. And my one-slide summary of those 300 visits is this. This is what they work on. These are like 3 clear benefits that customers really appreciate and that make a difference in successful companies today. They're faster than real time, which means that they are proactive. They solve problems before the customer knows that there will be a problem. They are hyper-personalized. They don't care about the average customer, they think about the individual customer. And they make the most convenient user interfaces that you can possibly imagine. Now, you can probably guess which companies are leading this like crazy. And that's the sad news and the hard news for most of you, most of us that are in companies without a digital DNA, that those superpower apps are really good at that. Last time when we were in China with one of our Nextworks tours, we went to Tencent. And Tencent is the biggest technology company in China, and they are the proud owner of WeChat. Sometimes in the West we call WeChat the Chinese version of Facebook or WhatsApp, which is Western arrogance. WeChat is far more advanced than what we have here with our social platforms. It's light years of difference. They also have 1 billion users. Every digital Chinese is on WeChat. And what do they do with it? Basically everything. Everything. You go on a restaurant, you book it on WeChat. If you want flowers, you go on WeChat. For the bankers here, if you want to do private banking, you go on WeChat. If you want to do payments, you use WeChat. Navigation, WeChat. If you go to the hospital, you need WeChat for your insurance, your driver's license, WeChat. Everything is WeChat. It's like the operating system of China. If Facebook is down in our region, it's world news, but life goes on. If WeChat is down in China, I don't know how they would work. They don't use email. They do, to communicate with the people from the old world, US and Europe. And if you think that I'm exaggerating, last time that we were in China, my good friend Peter Hinsen and myself, we craved for an ice cream, so we went to an Haagen-Dazs store in a mall in Shenzhen. And I said, Peter, I'm going to buy you an ice cream. And I was holding the two cones. I gave Peter his ice cream, and then I had to pay. So I grabbed my wallet, took my KBC credit card. And the moment that I grabbed my credit card, you should have seen the fear in the eyes of that lady. And she was like, people from the old world came back. And then she said the magical words, I am not sure if this will work. And then she grabbed an old credit card machine filled with dust. She tried to, get paid, and it didn't work. And I was there like, okay, how is this going to end? And then Peter is always better prepared. He said, Steven, no worries, I have cash Chinese money. I brought it here. So he grabbed his wallet, he took out the cash Chinese money. The Chinese people behind us started to take pictures of us. That was years ago that they saw cash money, and they said, how cute, those two guys from the old world with Chinese money. It was like, I think they're going to come to Ghent and Bruges pretty soon and take pictures of us when we pay with coins. Like, whoa, like the real Middle Ages, and then the horses driving by and people holding their steering wheels. It's going to be great for tourism, that we still have cash money. And maybe some of you think that I'm exaggerating. Well, let me show you this. These are people begging for money in the streets of China. Those people all have their own little QR code to accept mobile payments. Because the worst job in the world is to be a beggar in a country with no money. So if you want to do business as a beggar, you need to accept mobile payments. This is how far it has come. But if you look at what WeChat does, it's very personalized. It's a very convenient user interface for everyone on an individual level. It's extremely easy to use. And with the data that they have, they can help the country to do preemptive services. Like if people go to the hospital, they will know that people are on their way to the hospital. If there's danger for some criminal facts, they know and they can alert the police. So they are fully focusing on this. Now, before some of you get depressed, I believe that this is possible and is a challenge for every company without a digital DNA as well. One of my favorite examples that is going to that transformation is McDonald's. And I really like their story, because McDonald's is in a business that's going against all health trends. It's against everything that you see and hear that you should do. It's like the worst thing you can do is go to a McDonald's. But still, they're extremely successful. And they changed everything. They basically dropped all their processes and started from scratch. You've seen the kiosks, I assume. They removed the counter desk where you had to wait, order, and wait again. Now you order through the kiosks and they bring it to the table. Some of you may think, yeah, is that such a big a change? Yes, it is, because it asks for different skills, different culture, different way of interacting with customers, different way of preparing the hamburgers. But this is the beginning. They are working on apps so you can pre-order. They're working on apps where you can really personalize your burger, create your own taste. They are working on apps if they know that you have a cheese allergy, for instance, that next time that you order a Big Mac, that you won't have to tell them that you don't like that. But they're going into that personalized cooking. They're going into e-commerce, something that was unthinkable before. But the figures are huge. Huh? They created last year $1 billion in revenues with home delivery. This is a big chunk of additional revenue that they wouldn't have earlier. And they're working together with Uber, for instance, to make sure that they can leverage on the Uber network to deliver burgers. And it works. I mean, if you look at the financial results of McDonald's of the last 2 quarters, they were the best quarters ever for a company working in difficult waters. But they're focusing on this, and they are willing to make the full transformation and go all in on it. And that's that world in that day after tomorrow. And I think this is our guiding star. The challenge that I would invite you to think about in your day after tomorrow is, how can we create or think about the best possible customer interface and work our way back? I mean, every company has this challenge to create a successful tomorrow. And there are 2 ways of achieving it. You can look at what you have today and improve it a little bit, or you can dare to dream about the best possible scenario and work your way back. I had the pleasure of working together with one of my favorite companies in the world, the Efteling. I think we will have a lot of Efteling fans in this room, because almost everywhere you only find happy customers of the Efteling. We took them on a tour to Silicon Valley, not to look at new attractions, but to look at the future of customer experience. And what they've done with it is just amazing. They made a very concrete, very clear description of what the Efteling experience will look like in 2030. They asked themselves, driverless cars, what does that mean for our parking lot? Virtual assistants, what does that mean for the way that people plan their day? What will people hate? Waiting in line. They will not wait in line for an hour in 2030 for a 2-minute ride. We have to solve that. And they looked at every single detail. And then they worked their way back. And maybe you saw this in the news, but now the Python, their iconic roller coaster, is the first ride in the park without queues. It's a virtual queue. You make your reservation and then you go. They think that there's going to be a max of 10 minutes that you will have to wait. This is a test. And if it works, they're going to add another ride and another ride and another ride to become the first theme park in the world without waiting in line. In the past, they said, you know, queues are part of a theme park. We will make it more fun with some music and some entertainment. And that's cool for 5 minutes, but the other 55 minutes, it's still kind of boring, right? Now they want to solve this. And what is really fantastic, don't put this on Twitter because I'm not really 100% allowed to say, but now they're telling this strategy to every one of their 1,800 employees. And what they have is in their fairy tale forest, het Sprookjesbos, you have the little house of Vrouw Holle. Do you know Vrouw Holle? It's that old lady with her kussen, and she's waving like this, and then it starts to snow. It's one of the oldest places in the park. On the attic, on top of that house, they created their day after tomorrow room, and they created their virtual reality experience of their experience in 2030. Now, every employee of the park is walking through the forest, going on the attic of Vrouw Holle, her little house. They put on the VR glasses, and they get immersed in this way and this world of the Efteling in 2030. And this is extremely, extremely cool. They are presenting it, they're sharing it, and they're working their way back.